Hello, everyone. This is the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Rochele Lawson, and
Dr. Kim Brown Barber, better known as Dr. Kim. Hey.
and we are here this evening with the Real Talk Show, and we are happy to be here. We have this show every other week, and this show is dedicated to you women out there that may be seeing us, because on our show we talk about issues that affect women and that have a lot to do with how we, I say, move down our path to bliss in this society that we are in today. And so, me and Dr. Kim, and usually we have a group of panelists join us or a group of guests join us. We discuss issues with regards to just that. So, tonight's topic is about
Drum roll.
it's about money and values and
Ding.
how us women think, feel, move, hustle, and flow, so to speak, with regards to when it comes to our money and values around this. And I'm keeping my eye out because I know we're going to have some people joining us, but I'm keeping my eye out. So if you see me kind of glancing away from the camera, it's because I'm keeping my eye out to let other people into the studio. So that we can have this nice dialogue. But Dr. Kim, why don't you start by telling those who are watching us all about you?
Well, I am Dr. Kim, as I said before, and I am the founder and CEO of Journey to Becoming, because we're all on this journey of becoming who we already possess, who we're already are, that's coming forth, that's coming out. So we have a platform to be able to help and encourage and inspire women, to get to their becoming, but enjoying the journey and knowing it's all a part of your becoming. And then we also have a college student platform, because we know that college students need our encouragement and inspiration as well, especially these days with everything happening. So we are here to be able to journey with you, if you will, on your becoming, so that we can be able to inspire, encourage, highlight, and give you motivation, inspiration, and information. So that's a little bit about me.
I love it. And so there you have it, the fabulous one and only Dr. Kim. And she, told you all about what she focuses on. Now, me, I'm Rochele Lawson. I'm known as the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. I am a multi-business owner, and my business, Blissful Living for You, is which I will talk about today with you, is a business that's focused on helping you to step into living your dream life. And we focus on the pillars of building and sustaining wellness, wisdom, and wealth, so that you have no problem doing that. We generally work with women, unstoppable women that are fierce and fearless and are really ready to turn their passion into purpose, as well as turn their purpose into profit. So that is a little bit about what we do. We take you from 0 to 100 so that you can actually really have balance in all of those three areas of wellness, wisdom, and wealth, because without that, you cannot go forward and have sustainability in whatever it is you do, particularly when you're living your dream life. So that is what we do at Blissful Living for You. Now, today's topic is about money and values, and particularly how we women see that. And so with today's society and all that's going on with women around, not only in the U.S., but around the world, money plays a real important part in with regards to what we do and how we move and flow in the essence of our economy, in our relationships, and our careers, and our businesses, and pretty much in life. And so I want to ask you, Dr. Kim, with regards to money and values, when it comes to women, particularly women in our day and age, what would you say with regards to that has been your experience when the conversation comes out about money?
I'm still here. I don't know what happened. It says the browser lost connection. So, hey, we're going to keep it moving.
Okay.
We're going to keep it. Can you still hear me okay?
I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to keep it moving. Technology these days, we don't worry about it. We keep it moving because we are fearless and we are fabulous and we are becoming Powerful. All
Yes,
right. So
yes.
you don't see me, but I'm doing my clap and my thumbs up back to you. But I just think that it's just so many parts that play into this when you talk about money and value with women. I think a lot of times you almost have to, even looking at now, when you talk about women of today, you almost have to go back to history and see what it's taught us. Like a lot of times people have learned behavior when it comes to money, especially women, because, you know, a lot of times in some people's situations, it's been where they were focusing just on.
Uh-oh, did we lose you, Dr. Kim? I think we lost your sound. Let me see if I can, no. Uh-oh. I'm not sure what happened, but we'll continue going on. Well, with regards to money and values, the whole conversation today is about us talking about and opening up dialogue, us women around the world, when it comes to our money and our values around money. And so my question was to Dr. Kim is, what are your hopes and concerns for your family, community, and or the country when it comes to money and value? And for me personally, when it comes to hopes and concerns for my family, I'm hoping that my family is taking the information and the wisdom that I'm bestowing upon them, particularly my children, when it comes to managing your money, valuing your money, and understanding that you can make your money not only work for you, but you can also make your money grow to a capacity that as you begin to age, you don't have to worry so much about the future. Now, one of my children is very inclined, is very, I should say, very involved in managing his money and really investing and looking forward to the future, because his belief is that there will be no social security when he gets to that age that he should be able to receive social security. There will be no social security available for people of his generation. So he's doing things right now to solidify the fact that as he continues to age, he's going to build and sustain and grow wealth in the capacity when it comes to money, so that he can be prepared for the future, whatever that may be. Now, it's just based on what we may think or what we feel or what we might believe when it comes to social security for our children, but it's never too late to be prepared. And I have always taught my children that both my daughter and my son, or my son and my daughter, that the importance of saving what, you know, a particular amount of what you earn. And I've always shared with them, you know, my investment strategies. I used to take them to the women's investment club I belong in when they were young. I'd have to take them to meetings because I am a babysitter. But they kind of learned and picked up some information, and they begin to understand as they age the value of money. I would make them earn their money and invest their money and save their money, but also learn the value of buying things that they desired, so that they wouldn't take it for granted that whatever they chose to spend their money on became a lot more precious to them versus mommy or daddy buying it. And since there's no blood, sweat, and tears in getting that money, they don't understand or don't quite grasp the value of spending their dollars. So it's been very important. And with regards to my community, I've always been involved in the community. I was a Rotarian for many years, and also sat on several hospital boards. And I always have been fiscally responsible. I sat on a board, the National Association of Women Business Owners, Silicon Valley. I was the president, and I sat on that board for 7 or 8 years. And when you do that, you have to be fiscally responsible for the money that the organization makes, particularly nonprofit organizations. And so with my community in my home city, I always wanted to make sure that whatever I was involved in, when funds were being raised, that it was going back to the community in a beneficial way. And one of the things that I experienced was that funds that were raised by the Rotarians would go back to the community and provide glasses for children in school that did not have the means to get glasses. That was one thing. Also, there was another thing where they provided clothing such as coats for in the wintertime and socks, because sometimes these kids don't have any resources. Their parents don't have any resources, and they can't provide for their children. So community based was always, we would raise funds and put that money back into the community to help support those that were less fortunate than us. So I think it's very important. And as women, we tend to be the caretakers of our families. It's just something that we do. And so it's a natural kind of thing for us to want to share wisdom with regards to how we can be better as we move forward down our path to bliss. But when it comes to money, oftentimes that's not spoken in the household. It's definitely not talked about or learned in high school or college. And one of the things that my daughter and her girlfriends would say when they were in college was that they wish they would have gotten some knowledge, some teaching, some learning behind handling finances prior to them getting to college, because once they got to college, they kind of had to figure it out, particularly as they begin to get in the later years of college. So it is important for us to be responsible as women, to educate our family, our community, and to give back to our community and share with those that may be less fortunate or may need a helping hand at this moment in time. It's an investment well made. And if you're in that position, it's always a blessing to be able to do that. Now, the next question would be, what would your best friend say about you when it comes to money and how you have values around that? And for me, I think my best friend would say that I'm pretty savvy with money. I've done some things with money, and I've gotten everything that I've wanted to achieve in my life, particularly when it comes to money. As a 20-something, was in an investment club with ladies that were about ready to retire from Lawrence Livermore Lab. So they were serious, and I got a lot of education behind that. And so that's just helped me to be a little bit more wiser when it comes to investing my money. Also, as a business owner at a very young age, I had to learn how to appreciate the energetic vibes of money and value that, so that I could stay in that energetic vibrational place that was enhancing and magnetizing, attracting and manifesting, so to speak, but also just enhancing not only my life, but that allowed me to enhance the lives of others, such as my employees and, again, people in the community that were less fortunate than myself. So I think my best friend would say definitely, or my best friends would say definitely, yes, I know the value of money. I personally am a gal that likes to live luxurious. I love luxury things. I love traveling to, exotic places. I like traveling first class. I like driving in a luxury car. I like living in a nice luxurious house. I like wearing luxurious clothes. I like luxury, but I don't necessarily like to pay for luxury. So I'm the type of gal that when it comes to me spending my dollars for some luxury item that may be a lot of money, I'm going to find a way as to how I can get that luxurious item at a much more affordable cost to me, but yet it still be the same luxurious thing, not a fake or a phony, but the same luxurious thing that I wanted that may cost a gazillion dollars, so to speak. But I'm going to find a way to get that into my life, whether I do some imagination, visualization, manifestation, but I'm going to find a way to get that into my life at a cost that's affordable to me. So yes, I do value money. I do value the energetic vibe of money. And I know that in order to have that money flow into your life, in order to have prosperity flow into your life, you have to be willing to receive as well as be willing to give, or rather be willing to give as well as be willing to receive. So I'm so sorry, because I was expecting this big panel of people, and technology. Dr. Kim was here with us, and technology just kind of did a snafu on her, and so I'm just I'm not sure what
Hi
happened.
there. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
she's back. Yes, yes, yes.
I can't get my picture for whatever reason, but yes, I am back and trying to. I was like, hey, audio is better than nothing at all. So I'll fight with the
Exactly.
technology pieces later to figure out what happened, but it's all good. But I've been listening in the backstage, and man, yes, you've been hitting on some awesome
Well, I'm
topics.
glad you've been listening because I want you to share your points with regards to what are your hopes and concerns for your family and community and hey, the country when it comes to money and our values as women around money.
I just think it's so important for us to have more education. I think that's my biggest thing is my hopes is that we have more education that is actually the what I call the hidden curriculum of money actually to be more exposed and so that it's more equitable in finding out about these things. So a lot of times, like for me, my youngest brother, he's into investing, right? But he learned by really getting into it for himself, loved it, and then read people's books, actually met the authors, went and was like had tutelage under them, the whole nine, and understands that investment part of a portion of it. My other brother, he's what we call frugal, right? But he knows everybody. Have you ever known somebody who they know somebody
Yes,
who can get that done? He's that
yes,
person. So he actually saves money by doing that, but yet he's into investment, but on another end. And I came from a family where my father was into and knew about money and finances, but my mother did not. That's something she had to actually develop, and even more so because, being a woman from that era, you
right.
had your main thing was having a husband. If you had a husband that can take care of it, you didn't worry about it. And you can't do that, ladies. You have to be able to learn. Because when my mother found herself, of course, when my parents divorced, later on, and she had to learn all of that on her own and figure it out, and she did because she was very smart. But that's why we have to equip ourselves with more education. So I feel like more, hope and value is more education on not only being able to manage money, to understand money early on. And I'm not talking about like a checkbook, like I remember in the classes back in high school, they would consider themselves being, hey, we're doing something because we have somebody with a checkbook and they're telling you how to balance your checkbook, and that was the end of financial literacy. And it's like it's so much more. What about houses and student loans and mortgages, and how do you
Right.
work and talk about points that deal with your mortgage. And so I just really feel, even for the nation, that we need to be more equitable in our teaching for money.
You brought some great points, and I like how you incorporate it with regards to the country. I want to ask you because you are an educator, you're in education, so to speak, higher education. But I want to ask you with regards to that, and people having to like figure out this whole college situation and the whole money aspect of it with their kids during this
Mm-hmm,
particular moment
mm-hmm.
in time. What have you heard, or have you had any dialogue with any parents, particularly moms, but have you, or even the kids, with regards to um, their feelings with regards to how they're receiving their education
Mm-hmm.
um, over this, over these last, what year, 15, 16
Yeah,
months?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, awesome question because a lot of students are concerned, and especially in the beginning, they were more than concerned, they were fearful, right? Because no one really had answers. They didn't know what it looked like, and they really couldn't concentrate. You had A students getting D's. And because it was so much more holistically than just the education that they were getting, it was that they were, what they were living with at home. Everybody's home life is not like ours. So we don't know
Right.
what you're going home to. So, talking to students, a lot of times they were concerned, some were fearful. But as it has started to try to turn the corner, you have some who are now a little bit more hopeful, but then you have some that did not do well virtually,
Mm-hmm.
period. That's not their thing. Everybody's a different learning style. And so they learned that, they're face to face. And so some of them are eager to get back to campus, and others are like, no, I'm good right here. I don't want to be bothered. I'm good right here. So it's like a mixture of feelings from the students. And of course, when you talk about moms, a lot of moms, a lot, so I won't say a lot, but most moms are ready for their kids to get back to school.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I have talked to some moms that have said, no, you know what? This thing threw me into homeschooling my kids, and this is where I'm going to keep them. And they just feel comfortable with that. So it becomes a question of what you can do, because some moms are working in a capacity where they can homeschool their kids.
Right.
This particular mom can, because she has a business where she has some flexibility, where she can homeschool her kids during a certain amount of time, and then she can be able to go to her store and be able to work. So she can do that. But other moms, they don't have that luxury to be able to do it.
Yeah, I know it's a difficult situation to navigate, and when it comes to the whole money aspect of it, uh, I know some women have had to, uh, how do I say, pull back on their hours and time that they were committing to
Mm-hmm.
their professional careers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it does have an effect, but again, it's just an energetic thing with when it comes to how you feel with it, how you feel about
Mm-hmm.
it, how you deal with it, and knowing that there's always money available. There's always sources available, particularly now as things have transitioned to the new presidency. There's a lot more, I think, resources available for people that
Mm-hmm.
are struggling, but then there are also, how can I say, difficulty for people to get those resources that actually need it due to just sometimes very, very minor things that they may be negating or don't have at the time. So things are, I think, definitely on an upturn. I think the positive energy is definitely turning around things. We're
Yes.
definitely on a trajectory to have, I think, a much better year in my heart and soul. That's what I believe.
Me
Not that
too. I'm with you
it
on
was
that.
a bad year with regards to things. It was a sad year because we lost a lot of lives. But
Yes, most
with regards
definitely.
to it being a bad year, there's been a whole other lot of other years that have been really, really bad when it comes to our economic situation.
Sure.
And let me rephrase that. I don't want anybody to see this to think that I don't have compassion for those that lost their jobs or were furloughed. I totally have compassion for all of you, and totally understand. I was always this hustle and grind type of chick. I've had some tough times too, economically as well as medically. But so I don't want you to think by any means I'm discounting them. I'm just glad that things are turning around so that everybody, men, women, and anybody that wants to work has an opportunity to get back and do what they are meant to do.
Exactly.
So by
Now,
no
let me
means,
ask you a question,
yeah,
Miss Queen of Feeling Fabulous, because
yes,
when it comes to money, I think that it's kind of like share the wealth, and when I mean share the wealth, I mean the education of wealth and the understanding of wealth, right? Because
mm-hmm,
a lot of people can get money and then all of a sudden lose it. Look at people who win lotteries, or even you look at some people who have been in spotlight of whether they are an athlete and get all this money, and the next thing you know that they are broke, or
right.
women who maybe all of a sudden hit something really big and do something great, and next thing you know they're broke again. how how do you see, as women, is our best defense fiscally, when you're talking about managing our money, not just managing like paying your bills, but managing the money and being able to have it to grow? So managing and growing money. How would you see that?
So most definitely, I would say that you have to be involved. First of all, you have to take an active role in the household, whether it's a single household and you're raising your kids by yourself, or you're married and you're doing something together. No matter
Mm-hmm.
what, you have to be taking an active role in how the money in the household is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. You shared the story like with your mom. She relied upon your dad, and when things changed, she had to figure it out. Right. You have to take
Exactly.
an active role. And the other thing I would say is you have to take an active role in the management of your economic situation at a young age. It's never too early to start. As women, females, it's never too early to start inquiring and looking at what is coming into you as far as
Mm-hmm.
money and what is flowing out of you.
There
Because
you go.
when you take a look at that and you really, really take it to heart, you will see the essence of what you're doing with regards to spending and where you're negating where regards to spending, where you can be putting that money into other avenues that can grow for you. The other thing is, please just make your um, saving, so to speak, do it automatically so you don't even have to worry about it. You don't think about it. When you do something automatic and when you set it up at an automatic, you don't, it's not like you have to do anything. It just automatically happens. And you can watch that money grow. And you can do that with stocks, bonds, other investments. The big thing is get some Bitcoin or some cryptocurrency and get in on that because that is growing astronomically. But for women, we need to take an active role. We need to educate ourselves. We need to save. We need to learn about investing. We need to,
Mm-hmm.
and when I say
Mm-hmm.
investing, not just in stocks and bonds, there's real
That's
estate
right.
investments. There's
Mm-hmm.
a ton of, there's investing in yourself and your business. If you want to be an
That's right.
entrepreneur, there's taking that money that you might be spent externally that you don't need on stuff, by spending on stuff that you don't need and investing in yourself. That's the biggest investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
never too early. Like I said, I was a young, really young in my 20s, and I got in an investment club with ladies that were ready to retire, and them ladies were serious, and it was the
See?
best education because some of that stock, some of that stock. Now think about it, the time, much time has passed, but some of that stock I have now owned um, for 30 years.
Wow, nice.
Right? Yeah. And
Nice.
some of the companies are Dell, Home Depot, things of that nature. But some of that stock I now own for 30 years. Once the club, once the ladies got to retirement, we're like killing it with the investing stuff. Wow, I'm thinking these ladies, some of these ladies might be in their, oh, 80s and 90s now. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was just an amazing experience. So never too early to start
So let me
thinking
even
about
interject
investing.
right there, because you just popped on something. Like, you dropping all sorts of nuggets. You don't see my hand, but I'm like, okay, she's dropping all sorts of nuggets all over the place, which is awesome. But my thing is this: you said investment club and how you got in early, right? I was a part of an investment club early too, but it was a real estate. It was real estate investment,
Oh
and that's how
yes.
I ended up becoming a broker in real estate. But I want to hear from the other side of it is how did you, and I can talk more about how I became into that at a young age in my early 20s, but I want to hear from you at your early age. You said you got into this investment club with these ladies who were about to retire. How did you find that? How does someone out there find that as a female, whether they be younger or more mature? How do you find this investment club and know it's legit?
So here's the thing. It just so happened to be the most popping thing at that time period because the I think the Beerstown's ladies had written a book and they had, these were these, again, senior gals, beautiful
Uh-huh.
gray hair ladies that, you know, created this club for them and they started playing and dibbling, dabbling, buying stock. And so it was this big thing. I don't know if it was like on
Wow.
the news or something, but
Mm-hmm.
it became this big thing. So there were investment clubs popping up everywhere. And in the city
Mm.
that I lived in, there was like, girl, there probably was like four of them, and there was just these
What?
women clabbering to them. You had to literally like jockey for position and be on a waiting list.
No.
Now,
Oh my
unfortunately, okay,
goodness.
so fortunately, the first club that started was basically had branched out to educate other women in the town because it was, like I said, it was like the booming thing at that time. And
Mm.
so the ladies that I got with just happened to be, we just kind of all got together and chatted about stuff, and I just happened to be attracted to the older gals.
Mm-hmm.
And it just stuck. And it was really cute because our oldest club member, bless her heart, was 84 years old. That lady was as quiet as I
Wow.
was in my 20s, but she was
Are you
84 years old.
serious?
And she looked absolutely fabulous. And she was serious. That her name was
Oh
Norma.
my
Norma was
goodness.
serious. Now, like I said, this is probably 30 years ago. So if Norma's living, she's probably like 110. I wouldn't put it past her. But she was serious, and it was just a caliber. And here I was just doing it because I just really wanted to set up my children's 503, for their education,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
their
Mm-hmm.
college education plan. And then once I got in, it was great. But it was really, but see, I'm a hustle and grinder type of girl. I am
Mm-hmm.
going to hustle and grind, and I'm going to do whatever it is that my heart desires, particularly when it comes to building and sustaining wealth, which is one of the pillars I focus on. So I'm going to do that. And it's funny because you said you were a broker. Well, Dr. Kim, guess what? I'm a real estate broker too. And
I tell you, we keep finding how we have so much in common. It's unreal, ladies out there. It is unreal. We keep peeling back the layers, right? And we keep
right.
saying, "Oh my gosh, really?
Yep.
This is
Yep.
amazing."
I actually have to finish up my continuing education units because I got to renew my broker's license
Yep,
next month. So,
I
but
know how that
it was
is.
something here's the message I really want to share with the women. It doesn't matter what age you are out there. If there's something you want to do when it comes to money, first of all, find out as much about it as possible. Whether
Mm-hmm,
it's
definitely.
Bitcoin or Home Depot, or
Mm-hmm,
Dell computers, find out as much, or Apple, something like that. But find out as much as you possibly can about it. Where it might be pharmaceuticals.
mm-hmm,
The next thing is ask questions. Go out and call the Charles Schwabs or the E Trades or the whoever's, Merrill Lynch's, and ask questions. It doesn't hurt to ask questions because that's how you educate. And asking them, of course, they might try to get you in and sell you something, but ask as many questions as you have or you want to know about when it comes to investing, because there's all type of investing platforms. And
mm-hmm,
then
mm-hmm,
take action. You don't have to put thousands of dollars into something. You can start with buying just one stock or investing in a
mm-hmm,
bond, or the big thing
mm-hmm,
right now is investing in precious metals such as gold and silver. You can buy 1 ounce of silver or 1 ounce of gold, but start
mm-hmm,
small, whatever you can afford at that moment in time. Another way to be able to do some type of investing is if you take 10% of your salary and put it in a little, what you call your investment account, and use
mm-hmm,
that money to purchase stocks, bonds, real estate, whatever, increments, whatever you want to do. That money grows, and make it automatic. That money grows, and as it grows, you can take out of it and invest in
mm-hmm,
something. And again, it could be 1 ounce of silver or 10 ounces or 20 or 100 ounces. But as that
mm-hmm.
money grows, you can take that and invest in different avenues that you've won, and done a little bit of research on, asked pertinent
Exactly.
questions, gotten some knowledge, and then you can make an educated decision to invest. And again, I'm going to say precious metals are great, particularly gold and silver, and then of course Bitcoin. I'm not
Right.
a financial expert or anything, but I do know how to grow wealth, and I do know, just from my own personal experiences,
Mm-hmm.
um, that women should definitely take an active role in managing the household or knowing about the household finances, as well as taking a little bit of their money and investing it for not only the future of themselves, but the futures of their family and their kids and so on.
And you're right. And I love it. And one of the things that I found to be really helpful is exactly what you had said earlier. And that is if you have something done automatically, I find it very helpful when I have something taken out of my check automatically. And so I don't even see it, and it goes toward, my retirement,
Right.
whether it be a 401k or, whatever it is, that you can be able to do that, or either, like you said, an investment account that you just have that it goes to that, and then you take that money to be able to invest in. And then also, you can do the same thing with just building up your savings and having it done automatically. And I think when you do it that way, it's helpful because you're not seeing it, and then you're working with the money that you have at the end that you're netting, right? Whatever you're
Right.
netting, and then running the household off of that. But I have a follow-up question. Because you said something about negating spending. Now we as ladies, now let's we're gonna just talk. This is the real talk show, right? Now they
Right.
always say we as ladies that we love to go on a spending spree and we love to spend. Like a lot of times if you talk to men, they hear them say, "Oh yeah, now she's always spending all my money," or spending spree, spending spree. We can't help it. Almost like we have, what do they call it? What was the it was a show that was dealing with the shopaholic or something, confession of a shopaholic or something. It was on television, and
Right.
and she just spent. And she would spend and she would hide things because she didn't want her husband to find out she was shopping. So they said that was a key factor to know that you are a shopaholic when you're spending and you're hiding things. So, how do you weigh in on all of this? And then how do you determine from bad spending and good spending?
So I have a confession to make.
Wait a minute. Let me get the
I
mic
was
up.
that girl back in the day when I was young. When I was young, I was that
Okay.
girl that I did like to shop. And I'm gonna say this is before online anything. There was no internet, right? So I was that girl that I did like to shop. Well, for one, I had a business and I always had to look sharp and savvy. And my belief was I could never be seen in the same suit by the same people or the same dress or whatever. So I had to, or the same pumps or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I would go shopping out at East Ridge Mall in San Jose because that's where I grew up. And that's where I was living at the time. And I would go to East Ridge Mall and shop, and I would hide stuff in my car, particularly shoes, because I have a shoe fetish. But I would hide my shoes in my car. I can't buy just one pair. I got to buy 3 or 4. I would hide them in the trunk of my car. And then when my husband would be gone, I would play basketball or whatever. I would dip those shoes in. And so when I would wear them, he'd be like, "Oh, when'd you get those shoes?" I'm like, "Oh, you had these. You just haven't seen them, right?"
Yeah, you're not paying attention.
Right. So yes, I have that confession. But the other thing was that I learned at a young age was not only to take 10% of my earnings and put it away in a particular savings for investing, but I also would take 10% of my earnings and put it away. And I would call like I had these little funds. So I would take 10% of my earnings and put it away in a little slush fund. And when I would do my shopping, it would come out of that slush fund because I didn't believe in credit card. I didn't want to have credit card. So, most people back in the day would pull out their Visa, hey, MasterCard. And if you had an American Express green card, you was balling, right? So I didn't want to have any credit card debt. So I had this little slush fund. And I would buy all kind of stuff out of that slush fund. But I had this little slush fund that I set up automatically, as well as the old school Christmas Club fund. That's basically what they were. They would just automatically be deducted out of my earnings and go into this fund. So I always had some money. Now I was really smart with regards to, or cognizant with regards to, I didn't want to spend too much. So here's a funny thing. I was kind of tight because I didn't want to spend too much on my money, right? Because it took me a while to get it. So I didn't want to spend too much, but I spent just enough to satisfy that craving of me being a shopaholic or having that shoe fetish. And the other thing was I was going to, again, look for that luxury item that I could get at a cheaper price. So if I wanted, I'm trying to think, I'm trying to think back then because I'm older now, so I've got this stuff like down to a science, right? But when I first started doing it, I was in my 20s, and I was trying to think what was a booming thing. Oh, Wilson's House of Leather at East Ridge Mall had the bomb, like they had the leather coat with the matching leather skirt, and you have the dress, just look all cute and sassy.
Leather queen,
Yeah, the leather queen.
Yes.
But that was the big thing, okay, so this is the whole different era, but the gold rope chains and Mr. T starter kits and all of that, right? I'm taking it way back. But the thing about that was I didn't want to spend too much, and because in my mind I worked too hard to get that, and so I had a threshold and I kept it. And so another suggestion or another tip I would like to share with the women out there listening, the young ones in particular, is to have a slush fund and set a threshold that, no matter what, you will not go beyond this amount or this percentage of spending out of that account for frivolous items. We have to do that. We have to do that because it's just what women do. Men do it too. Girl, don't get me wrong. Men do it too. And their stuff is way more expensive than we could get 5 things for what they can get 1 thing.
That's true.
But if you have a threshold, when you get to that point, you're not going to want to go over it. And that's in anything in life. If you have a threshold for tolerance of, silliness or anger or, whatever it may be, once you get to that point, you're just not going to do it anymore. You're not going to tolerate it. And it's the same thing with spending and shopping as well. And so, set up these slush funds. Think of them as Christmas Club account. If you start putting $25 a week or $250 a week, away, over time, over the year, that money's going to add up. And then at the end of the year, you have something that you can utilize to do, or you can do it in quarterly or, half yearly increments. But you can take that money that you save and, buy some stock, real estate, and invest in some bonds, mutual funds, things of that nature, and just let it sit. And then just keep, or Bitcoin, and just keep doing it. It's not the big investments we make, it's the little ones over time that make us the most money.
I really love that. It's the little ones over time, because time is definitely the factor, right? That's
Yes.
the equalizer, if you will. It's the equalizer to be able to put us in a better position. So I like that. And so in setting up those accounts, we have all these different accounts that you set up, and you say, okay, I want that money to, come directly out of my check and go into, whatever accounts that we have set up. But, as we do this, how do we continue to even train and teach our kids, so that they can be able to learn earlier and take advantage of those type of things, as well as learn about insurance and all those type of things. Because, a lot of times we talk about money and value and wealth, but we don't talk about those pieces of insurance, because that's all a part of that money management and growth too, right?
Right. I think for me particularly, I think here's a funny thing. I think because I was taking my kids, it's funny. I was taking them to these investment club meetings when they were 4 and 7. They were 4. My daughter was 4, and my son was 7. I was taking them there with me. And it's funny. You think kids are not paying attention, but they pay attention to a lot more than you.
Oh, yes, they do.
I did when I was a kid. My people talking. They think we're not paying attention. They think we're playing, but we're hearing a whole bunch of stuff, right? And the same thing with my kids. So when it came to them, it doesn't surprise me that my son is like totally doing the investment stuff. It doesn't surprise me at all, because he's just that type of guy. My daughter, it doesn't surprise me either with the way she manages her money, but she did mention that when she was probably like a sophomore in college, so she was 18, she said, that the educational system does a disservice to children coming up through the ranks, because we should start learning how to manage, or we should start learning about money in the 7th grade. And it should be mandatory that we have some type of education, some type of class from 7th grade through, graduating from high school, that helps with us understanding and managing money. I
totally agree.
A lot of kids don't even know how to write a check.
That's right.
Some kids don't even know how to fill out an envelope to mail their bills. You know what I mean? It's simple things like that, simple bookkeeping. And I remember when I was growing up, I didn't get to take these classes because I was a college prep student, but a lot of my friends had classes where they were doing bookkeeping and accounting, which would have been so beneficial to me when I started my business, because when I started my business, I had no idea about bookkeeping and accounting. I mean, I knew how to manage the checkbook, but had I known more, I could have done so much more in the beginning of the company. That would have been, I think I may have had not some harder time, but you know what I'm saying? It would have gave me a better understanding of how to make the money for my business work for not only my business but my employees and in the overall health of the company. So yeah, it's just it's amazing what kids see that they need, and it's amazing to see what they're not getting and how they survive um, by not getting, how they continue to survive and
Mm-hmm.
thrive, even though they didn't
Mm-hmm.
get that. They have to fill in the gaps themselves. And some people get it, some people don't. That's just life in general. But we're here to share the wisdom tonight with women.
Exactly.
And even for the older ladies, because I know we've been kind of focusing on the younger ones, because the younger ones are up in future coming generation. They're going to be ones that are going to be managing the money of the country, hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
in 30 years when I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
need some women to understand how women think when it comes to money. Even for the
Exactly.
older ladies, it's never too late to start investing. I'm sure they know,
Oh,
or
yes.
amplifying their retirement plans, or if they're in
Mm-hmm.
retirement, this you can still invest. You can still invest.
Exactly.
And again,
Oh,
I'm
it's
not a wealth
important.
expert, but I just, it's
It's
just something
important
to
to know that.
keep
You're
in mind.
right. It's never too late. It's never, never, never too late.
Yeah,
One of the other things tied to money that I want to just bring up. I know we're coming close to the end now. Look, we're on a
yeah,
roll, but I got to add this up. I got to put that out there is that it's credit scores,
yes,
being aware and learning about credit scores early. I'm with your daughter. All this needs to be taught early on, seventh grade, all the way through, making it mandatory. But understanding that it's systemic. That particular, and even sometimes of what we learn or don't learn about money is systemic, even within your own family and subcultures and cultures, right?
right, right.
And backgrounds. But it's like, but the system that's there, even though you have some people that will talk about that system being a system that is of course that has some equitable question marks to it, that it has some flaws in it because of how the system is set. But regardless, you got to know about the system and how it works. What's a good credit score? I was looking at a commercial, and of course, the commercial was trying to, beef up and have people to call this credit repair place, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they would call acting like they were on the street. They call and they asked this lady on the street. They was like, "What's a good credit score?" And she's like, "Oh, 600." And so the man was like, "Okay." He just started laughing. And so I was like, what a commercial. This is crazy. Then they started asking other questions dealing with, credit, and they were like, okay, so how do you make your credit go up? How do you make your credit go down? They were just asking random people on the street. And it was amazing to hear answers from some of the ladies and then listen to some of the men, because some of the men didn't know either now. But it was just amazing to listen to how so many people didn't know how it was connected, because even like they were like, yeah, and the guy was like, yeah, you can have a 600 credit score if you want to pay thousands of dollars more on whatever you're going to be financing. Sure, have a 600 credit score. So even knowing that connection to money,
Right, right. And
it's just valuable.
that credit score, it becomes an important asset to have as you begin going out into the big adult world, so to speak, or just moving and shaking through your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, for that matter. That credit score is
Exactly.
very important to have, because the better it is, the more access you have to capital.
Mm-hmm.
If a lady starting a business, a young lady starting a business, or a woman starting a business, you want to have a good credit score, because one, they're already going to be looking at you some type of way because you're a female. They won't say it,
Exactly.
but it is real talk. It is what it is, right? But
Exactly.
if you have a good credit score, then you become a more valuable asset to them, and they will open up doors and opportunities for you as that woman that wants to start that business, or as that
Mm-hmm.
woman-owned business, because
Mm-hmm.
of a good credit score. I can personally speak on that for certain. When my credit, as long as, I shouldn't say it like that, my credit score, I had a good credit score, and I ended up getting a personal banker at the bank that I banked with for my company as well as my personal stuff. I got a personal banker, and because the credit score not only of me but my company was good, the access to
Excellent.
capital and cash became unlimited, and
Mm-hmm.
all those all those hoops and bells and whistles and I's
Mm-hmm.
I had to dot, T's I had to cross
Mm-hmm.
when I was like
Mm-hmm.
trying to get my first car and didn't have good
Mm-hmm.
credit. I could have probably went out and got whatever kind of car I wanted at any kind of price because it didn't matter because I had that good credit score and I had the background with regard to the capital in my accounts, showing that I had that good credit score.
Exactly.
That opened up a lot of doors for me. So it's important to be able to have access to capital. And you brought a good point. A good credit score is the door, the gateway to that for all kind of things, whether it's personal or professional or business wise. We cannot negate that on any level. And okay, so we are everyone at the time we
Yes.
can always go on and it's maybe kind of good we didn't have no panel because we probably would have kept on talking. But I want
Exactly.
right?
I love it.
I want to honor everyone out there watching, and of course, you can recatch this broadcast. Just if you're not watching it live or not seeing it live, you can recatch it on YouTube for sure. Just type in the Real
Definitely.
Talk Show and or Rochele Marie Lawson or Rochele Lawson or Dr. Kim, and it'll pop up and you
Yes.
can watch it and share this. And we want more people to get involved. We want more women to get involved in our conversation because this is for women, by women, about women, and no one
Exactly.
can do it like us women do women. So, any last words you want to say, Dr. Kim, before we sign off?
I just say continue to educate yourself, be lifelong learners of money and value, and then pass it on. Pass it on. Share the wealth education.
I love it. I love it. And I want to say that, you know, it's our duty as women to educate other women around us when it comes to money and how we value money. It's a great topic to open dialogue because guys think differently than us
Mm-hmm.
and we can learn from everybody. But women supporting women when it comes to building, sustaining, and growing wealth and money and having values around that is very, very important. And so it's great to open up dialogue. Those investment clubs, the women investment clubs are still great, or those women real estate investment clubs, because I belong to
Mm-hmm.
those too. Those are great as well. And it allows you to be with women that it allows you to be with women that think along the same wavelength, so to speak. Not always the same, but the same wavelength when it comes to managing money. And sometimes those that don't, you learn the most from. So create a community and educate the women in your family, your mothers, your granddaughters, your daughters, your aunts, your nieces. Educate the women in your family, bring them together and have conversation about money. African American people definitely don't do that enough. And we need to be more active and involved in educating our young women for the future when it comes to money. Other societies do that. We kind of lack in that, and a lot of times we don't want to talk about money, but we need to have those conversations. We
Definitely.
want to break this
The cycle.
this cycle that we are in. It's going to be women needing to educate other women so that we can break the cycle, move forward, and be tremendously involved in asset management of our own wealth. So there it is. I'm going to stop right there. And I just want to say again, we have this show every other Tuesday. So the next show will be May 18th. And
Yes.
we invite you to join us live. And if you're interested in being on the panel, send us a message on Facebook and we will make sure you get on the panel. Every time we have the show, it's a different topic that we speak about, but all
Yes.
topics are about women. So thank you so much. And Dr. Kim,
Thank you. We'll see you next time. Be safe.
bye
Peace and
everybody. Take care.
victory. Take
Wearing your
care.
mask, using hand sanitizer, keep being, health responsible so that we can get through this COVID-19, aka the coronavirus, and come out on a better end, building and sustaining wealth. Okay, goodbye, everybody. Rochele Marie, the Queen of Philly Fabulous, and the
Dr.
Fabulous.
Kim.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.